So many people feel lonely today. There is indeed an epidemic of loneliness. And when I speak with my clients, I speak with my friends, I speak with people that I just meet about this, and I hear their story. Their stories, what I understand is that the first big challenge that we have today, which is a paradox, is that we are disconnected. We are so connected through social media and all kinds of apps and AI, and yet we are starving for connection. And the first starvation and the first disconnect is with ourselves. We do not know, it seems, how to reconnect with our own value, our own worthiness, and we do not have a sense of belonging towards who I am. So, the first big disconnect that caused me to feel lonely is a disconnection with myself. So, I feel like everything depends on me, and yet at the same time, I feel like I have no power over my life and over situations or over my future. And this causes a lot of anxiety. There is a lot of negative thinking going on, thoughts, negative thoughts that keeps going in circle, and I cannot break free into a new dimension, into a new state of being where I actually feel that I am empowered, that I am in charge, that I can do something about my situation. No. Today, we feel lonely. We feel we have no power. We feel that we have no resources and we feel like we can do nothing. This is how we tend to feel from the inside. And then when we look around and we try to see what's going on the outside and we try to look for opportunities and for chances and for resources, supports, the paradox is that there are so many, and yet we feel there are none. We are overwhelmed by the abundance on the outside, and we are overwhelmed by the emptiness on the inside. So, how do we make sense of this situation? Because that's a clear um, divide. That's the word. Divide that we have inside. We are kind of distant, dissociated from ourselves, and we are so associated with the world that we have the perception that it belongs to us in a way, and yet we can grab nothing of the world because it seems always like we are missing out. So we as human beings, we cannot feel at peace when we are living this inner conflict. We are constantly experiencing a sense of frustration, what we tend to call stress, and maybe we don't even know what that means. We just give that label. It is a frustration, it is a sense of being in conflict, it is a sense of not having peace inside. So, how do we get back some sense that we are in charge of our life? Because we need that too, and a sense that things are going to be going well, that they will be positive, that we will be able to achieve something, and we will be able to discover a little bit more what we want, because that's another big challenge in all this sense of being disoriented and of frustration and of anxiety. It becomes very difficult for us to understand what do I actually want. If I asked the question to you, and by the way, when I ask it to myself and to my clients, it is a very difficult question. If I asked you, so if you had a magic wand, if you could decide what to do and how to change your life, what would you actually choose that you believe would make your life better and would make your heart beating in a positive way again, that will make you feel serene and not anxious all the time? What would you want to happen to your life and to yourself so that you will be feeling good again? This is a very difficult question. For sure, what I would answer for you and for me today is I want to reconnect to myself. I do want to do that. I want to find out the peace and the resources that I can provide to myself. Maybe a new way of connecting to my way of thinking, discovering my emotional world, discovering my body anew, looking at relationships in new way and my social world in new way. And for some of us that want to go even deeper, discover a dimension, which is what I call the spiritual dimension, that actually is the source of strength, enthusiasm, and optimism. How do we do that? How do we reconnect, first of all, with ourselves so that we can then recognize the world outside and find resources on the outside that we can use to build and craft our life without being overwhelmed by the abundance and by all that is around? So, there is a very beautiful practice which is called which help us to create these connections. And the first thing that we need to do is to create some stillness and some calm on the inside. That's why many of you, as it has been for me, have embarked on a journey of learning how to meditate. Meditation is a very powerful tool that allows us and help us discover a way to be present to ourselves. And the first way to be present is really meditating, recognizing those parts of myself that constitute who I am: my mind, my heart, my body, my soul, that deepest center core within me. Meditation helps us also to become aware of our boundaries because we start to recognize inner boundaries among these parts of ourselves. And then we start to become more capable of recognizing boundaries with the social, with the outside. So, how do I reconnect with myself? Well, I do need to start a practice of meditation just to start understanding the distinctions between this part within me. And this takes time. And it seems at first impossible because we are so frustrated and we are so anxious that maybe we manage to sit for what, 30 seconds in meditation and try to get into this inner world. And this could be overwhelming, even 30 seconds. So, what do we do? What about breathing? Breathing, and there are so many great masters out there. Even here on YouTube, you can find many great people helping us on how to breathe. The thing that keeps us alive is what keeps us also connected to ourselves. So, breathe, and by breathing, we allow our body to find a space of calm. And then, when we are giving us permission to feel calm for maybe 5 minutes, in those 5 minutes, then we can begin to meditate and reconnect with who we are on the inside. And we need to be patient with ourselves. We need to be patient because I know it is like for me like this. After I have created a little bit of a space inside, the frustration has stopped for a few minutes. The calm is there for 5 minutes, and then I open my eyes. I've done my breath work. I've done my meditation. I open my eyes, and then my mind is bringing back everything that is causing me the stress again. So noticing what you are doing is a first adventure that will take us from feeling anxious and stress to being free to connect on the outside. So this is the work of inner connection. Yeah. So For today, I would really love for you to start breathing, doing 5 minutes meditation, 3 minutes if 5 minutes is too much, and notice, are you able to create a moment of calm? And what happens when you open your eyes and the overwhelming feelings of your life start again to join you? Noticing this is what will help us to move past the overwhelming feeling, because we see it first and then we learn how can we stop it, or how can we transform it. And as you can see, I am sharing this with a smile. Why? Because one powerful tool that we have that will help us to move beyond anxiety and stress and fear is to smile. Smile at life, smile at myself, smile with a sense of curiosity in relation to what could happen, and have a sense of what if, what comes out of this, what if when I start this experiment, what if the result is something positive? What if something that comes out is a sense of tiny, maybe a tiny sense of enthusiasm, a tiny sense of maybe happiness is coming back, maybe serenity, a little bit of calm. So you want to start to connect with those feelings, and that's why smiling. Moreover, research has shown that when we smile and we put a little bit the tip of our lips up, our brain is preparing a cocktail of a chemistry that tells our body, well, something positive, something good is about to happen. And so our disposition starts changing. So breathe 8 times through the nose and let it out slowly. And then after you've done that, and if you feel it makes you feel better already, just do it a longer time and follow some of the masters on breath work. And after you've done your breathing, meditate 2 minutes. Again, there are so many apps for that, and I'm sure you know them already. If you are not familiar with the apps, or if you have never meditated, meditation, and I will do explain that in another video, has to do with tuning in to yourself. So the first approach to tuning into yourself and to meditation is frustrating. Let me tell you, it was so frustrating for me, and yet enduring that moment is exactly what you need to do to give yourself a chance to feel better. So breathe, meditate for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then start noticing when you open your eyes after your meditation, what happens then? Are you getting an overflow of thoughts that actually overwhelm you? And here you go, you are back to a state of stress and anxiety. Or after you have meditated, there is a few seconds where you open your eyes and calm is still there. Noticing this gap, noticing what happens, is a very powerful step. And once you either have the overwhelming feeling back, or you have a moment of calm, just smile at this experiment. Give yourself a chance to elevate your spirit, your mind, your heart for a few seconds to a state and a sense of wonder in relation to what's happening. And then don't worry if you get back to worrying. It is a journey, it is a path. And start with this 3 simple steps: breathe, meditate for 1 minute, and notice what happens when you open your eyes. Thank you. See you next time.